It's an idea to help spur development in parts of Fresno left behind. On Thursday, City Council started the process to change the 2035 general plan, making it easier to build around the edges of town. Some say that it may help impoverished areas of town like southwest and southeast Fresno.
I really see the next building boom happening in Southeast, and I want to make sure that we're prepared and have flexibility and options.
The 2035 general plan was passed in December 2014 with much fanfare. The plan, which provides blueprints of how the city would grow, attempted to limit sprawl and encourage development closer to the city center, or infill. Councilman Luis Chavez, along with Steve Brandow, proposed removal of language requiring developers who wanted to build residential and commercial properties towards the edges of the city to preserve ag land. The concept is that for every acre of new development, that builder would buy a piece of ag land, or an easement, on a farm elsewhere.
In the farmland easement, they're saying you go out and find some land that is being farmed, and you negotiate with the farmer to leave that in farming perpetually, or for a certain amount of time, whatever the conditions of the farmland preservation are.
Mike Randini is the president of the Building Industry Association. He says the provision disincentivizes developers from building along the outskirts. Chavez says developers would just go elsewhere.
It's a lot of the development community moved over to Madera, Sanger, Kerman, and obviously they're going to go where their business model fits. And if we want to make Fresno business friendly, I think we need to really make sure that we do accommodate for that.
It increases their cost, and we objected to that provision when the general plan was adopted.
Councilman Oliver Baines disagrees.
There's been no evidence of that.
Why does Baines support the general plan as is?
Because it's one of the things that holds our general plan together.
During the debate, the head of the Farm Bureau cast an optimistic tone.
I do think there is not necessarily a one-size-fits-all approach. I do think it's probably going to be potentially in one particular area, maybe one way, and in one particular other area of the city, it may be something else.
Successful protection of critical farmlands occurs when cities embrace mitigation programs.
At one point, at the insistence of City Manager Bruce Rudd on behalf of Mayor Lee Brand, there was an attempt to delay striking the ag mitigation language.
We have very little consultation with actually the ag community, which is asking for a fuller regional discussion to vet out a suite of options that I think many of us would be in agreement with. And so I'm struck right now as to why we would take this approach, why we wouldn't have a more thoughtful dialogue around what may or may not be an important issue.
That was voted down, and the vote to change the ag mitigation language passed 4-3. This is just the first step of what could be a long-term process lasting months. David Taub, GV Wire.